So, first of all, my name is Marco from Avio Presentation Systems, and I will slowly start with the features of the screen. So, Clevertouch interactive displays come in 65, 75, and 86-inch sizes, and these are measured along the diagonal of the screen. Each one of the screens comes with speakers, which are these small holes at the bottom of our screen. They also come with two magnetic pads, and they come with stylus pens for these pads as well. There's a thin and a thick side of these pens, depending on which one we prefer to use. Along the bottom right side of the screen, we have a power button, and I have two USB inputs as well. Again, it might be a little bit different for you, depending on which model of the interactive display you might have. On the right back side of the screen, we also get a choice for a few inputs like our HDMI, Type-C, VGA, and etc. What I currently have on the screen, it's called Cleverlive. So it's a digital signage platform made by Clevertouch. Cleverlive comes with each one of the interactive displays that you purchase, and you are able to connect all the interactive displays into one account and display either the same presentation on every display or certain presentations on certain displays. The useful thing with Cleverlive is that if you buy any digital signage players, for example, like our Pico player, you're able to connect that to the same account, so you're able to run all these digital signage players and Clevertouch interactive displays from just one account. Now with Cleverlive, you can add in your own videos, as you can see on the bottom left side of the screen. You can add in your own photos. You can add in different RSS feeds from different websites, like you can see at the bottom of the screen. And you can add in different rolling text, like I've added on the right side of the screen. To exit out of Cleverlive, all I have to do is just tap on the screen, and it's going to take me back to my home screen. In my home screen, I get two side arrows, one on the left and one on the right side of the screen. And I also get an arrow at the bottom of the screen as well. If I tap on the arrow at the bottom of the screen, I can see my different inputs. So for example, we have our Lux, which is the Android system of the interactive display. We mainly want to be using the Lux because it has so many features, again, which I'll take you through in a few minutes. Then we also have our HDMI 1, 2, and 3. We have DisplayPort, and we have Type-C as well. Again, depending on what model of the screen you might purchase or you might already have, some of them might have different inputs like our VGA and etc. If I'm connecting with my HDMI, I'm going to receive audio and visual. I'm also going to receive an additional cable with my interactive display. This cable is going to have a square end, and it's going to have a USB end as well. The USB end is going to go into your laptop, and the square end is going to go into your interactive display. This is going to give us two-way touch. So what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to navigate around my laptop from my interactive display with my finger. We also have our display port, so with that we'll need that additional cable as well. And next to that we have our Type-C. So with my Type-C, I'm going to be able to receive two-way touch without having to use the additional cable, and I'll also be able to charge my laptop while I'm presenting on the interactive display. In my settings, I also get an option for my brightness and my sound as well. Under that we have display, so here we can turn on auto brightness, eye care mode, and etc. And under that we have our audio, so we can turn on different audio modes like our meeting, class, and we can customize the audio mode ourselves as well if we wish to do so. On the side we have our arrows. It's going to give us the choice of the same apps, just depending on which side of the screen we're going to be standing at. Every time you receive one of your Clevertouch interactive displays, you're going to get a 6-digit code at the top of the screen. So one way of sharing your laptop to the screen is with a wire, which I took you through previously when you have your HDMI, Type-C, and additional options for connection. The second way is to share wirelessly. So I currently have a Surface Pro here next to me. So I'm going to take you through the process on how to share your... I just shut down the Surface Pro. I'm going to take you through the process on how to share your laptop onto the screen wirelessly. Now, while I'm turning my laptop back on, feel free to pop any questions into the chat. I'm sorry for this. Turn back on. Okay. So with Clevershare, you can download it on your phone from your App Store, from your Play Store, and etc. You can also download it on your laptop from your Microsoft Store. So I'm gonna open up Clevershare on my laptop. Now I'm gonna type in the 6-digit code into my Clevershare app. So we have 535809. Once I'm connected, I get two options. I can either share my laptop onto the screen. So I'm going to take you through that first. So you're able to see what I'm seeing currently on my laptop. And we can also navigate around our laptop wirelessly. So I can go into Chrome, for example, and I can navigate around my laptop from my interactive display. At the bottom left side of the screen, we get a little arrow. With that arrow, I get a few options. I can put my window into a smaller window, and I can move that around the screen. I can also bring up my keyboard if I'd like to tap, if I'd like to type on the screen as well. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to take you through the second option that we get on our Clevershare. Second option would be to desktop sync, meaning that we can see what is happening on our interactive display from our device. So I can see currently what's happening on the interactive display on my own device. This could be useful if we have visually impaired students in class where they can see their the interactive display from their own device. We can also authorize two-way touch so we can get them to navigate around the screen from their own laptop. So for example, I can go into my apps, I can go into my Links whiteboard and etc. I'll take you through the features of our Links whiteboard. Again, it's another app made by Clevertouch. It comes for free with each one of your Clevertouch interactive displays. Now, I'm currently in the home screen of my Links whiteboard. It's giving me an option to sign in. So I'm just going to take you through the process on how to sign into the Links whiteboard and just show you how it works. So if I tap on sign in, again, you have to have a free account that you can just make on your web browser. This free account gives you access to free cloud storage and also gives you access to connect your OneDrive or your Google Drive to that Links account. If I tap on QR, let's say I'm a teacher and I'm walking into the class and I don't want to type in my email and my password in front of my students. I can just choose the QR code option. I can scan that QR code with my phone. Afterwards, I will be able to see my account and I'll be able to just tap on my account and it's going to sign me in on the screen. So it's a useful way to sign in without having to put the email or the password in front of your students in class. At the bottom left side of the screen, we get three lines. We get our choice for our options. So here we can change the language of our Links whiteboard, for example. So I can change it to Irish, French, and etc. So it could be useful if we're doing different languages in class. Under that, we have our fonts. So we can change different fonts when we're using our keyboard. I'll take you through that in a few seconds as well. On my home screen, I'm just going to put my brightness up a little bit. There we go. On my home screen, I get an option for new. That's just to open up a new whiteboard page. I get an option for AI Builder, which comes with Links Pro. I wouldn't worry about Links Pro for now. Just go with the basic version. Use the basic version. I think it's more than enough. And then you also get a choice for files. So again, these are your different files that you have connected or your cloud storage that you have connected to that account. So for example, I have my Links cloud. If I tap into that, I can see my storage in my Links cloud, and I also get a choice for my Google Drive since I connected my Google Drive to my Links account as well. On the right side, we get our links apps. So we get our links portal, which is just going to take us to an online website with all the new updates the links is coming out with. We also get a choice for links activities. So these are different simulations and games made by Links and another company called FET. Under that, we get our Link screen recorder. So with the screen recorder, it's fairly simple. You can screen record different lessons in class and you can save them onto your cloud or internal storage. And you can get other teachers, or you could reuse those recordings in future. In my whiteboard, I get 1/1 at the bottom left side of the screen. If I tap on that, I'm able to add more pages onto my presentation from those options. Next up, we have our finger pointer tool. Anytime a certain pen or text or my finger pointer tool is selected, we can see there's a blue highlight under that icon. So with my finger pointer tool, I'm able to resize different things on the screen and I'm able to move them around. So let's say my writings, my different objects, my different pictures, I'm able to resize them and move them around the screen. Next to that, we have our pen tool. If I tap into my pen tool, I get a choice of different sizes and different colors of pens. So for example, I currently have my ink pen selected and I'm able to start annotating on the screen with the ink pen. If I tap into that pen icon again, I'm able to open up my pencil case and I can find different pens like my highlighter. And we can highlight different things on the screen. I can also choose different pens like my fine tip pen. So this is fairly similar to the ink pen. We can start annotating on the screen with that pen too. Next to that, we have our laser pen. So with the laser pen, I can annotate on different things on the screen. We can talk about certain things that we've arrowed towards or that we've circled. And after a few seconds, my laser pen is going to disappear. I also get a choice for my text and shapes tool. So that's going to recognize my text. And it's going to turn it into a font I specified in the settings. Same with my shapes, it's going to turn it into a shape I specified in my settings. Now these features, the text and shapes and the math feature comes with Links Pro. Links Pro comes with some AI features too. But again, we're just going to try and stick with the basic version. With the math feature, you can write in an equation. You're going to get an answer and you're able to select that answer and reveal it to the class. I'm just going to go on to the next page. Under that, we have our rainbow pen. Very popular in primary school. Anytime you lift your finger off the screen or your pen off the screen, the color of that pen is going to change. We also get an animated rainbow, which is constantly going to change the color of that pen. We also get an option for my curve tool, so I can draw a line on the screen. I can use my finger pointer tool to select that line and I can make a curve on that line. I also get a choice to add in more points onto that curve and I can move those points around the screen as well. I also get a choice for my highlighter. So I can select my highlighter and I can change this, my eraser, and I can change the size of that eraser as well if I wish to do so. I'm going to open up a new page. Next to my pen tool, I get a choice for my T letter. So depending on where I want to type on the screen, that's where I'm going to tap on the screen. It's going to bring up my keyboard and I'm able to type on the screen by using my keyboard instead of using my handwriting annotation. Now I can move my writing around and I can resize it and I can change the font for my writing as well. Go back to the second page here. We also get a choice for a paintball. So with my paintball, I'm able to change the color of my background, for example. And I'm able to change the color of different lines on the screen or different letters on the screen as well. Just gonna go back to my next page. We have a plus icon. So with my plus icon, we can browse different files and we can bring those files onto our whiteboard. For example, if I tap on browse files, I'm able to get a choice from my different cloud storage and I'm able to bring in different files from that cloud storage. For example, I'm going to go for a PDF file. We can also bring in Word files, we can bring in PowerPoint files, and etc. So this time we're just going to go with a PDF file. Now we can move that PDF file around and we can resize it as well. At the bottom, we get 1/5. That's our different pages of that PDF file. What I'm able to do is I'm able to take my pen, I'm able to take my highlighter, for example, change the size of it, and we can highlight different things on that PDF file. We can also take an ink pen, for example, and we can arrow into different things, and we can annotate around or on that PDF file as well. Back into my plus icon, I get page link option. So with that, I'm able to bring in a snip of my page on the screen. For example, I just brought in a snip of a page number 3, and I'm able to move it around the screen so we can reference something from another page, for example, if we wish to do so. Back into my plus icon, we get a table, so we can bring in different tables like a 7x4 table, and we can resize that table as well and move it around. Under that, we have our shapes, so we can bring in different shapes like our circle, for example. We can choose that paint pot, and we can go into our crop tool, and I'm able to choose the shape split option, meaning that I'll be able to split that shape into different parts, and we're able to take those parts out. We're also able to select certain parts, and we're able to add in our percentage, radius, angle of that certain part of that circle. So it could be an interactive way to get the students to come up to the screen and play around with different measurements of our shapes. Just going to open up a new page now. Back into my plus icon, I also get a choice for my content. So these are different contents that we can bring in from online sources or from local sources. So for example, as you can see, I currently have selected my picture with my magnifying glass, meaning that I'm going to be bringing in content from my online sources. So for example, we can bring in different photos, different GIFs, YouTube videos, and etc. From different online sources. These are all safe search, and all the YouTube videos are cleansed of ads before they're shown on the screen. So for example, if I go on Microsoft Bing, and we're trying to study different countries, so we're going to look up Colombia. Back into my plus icon and my content, we can also bring in different GIFs. So for example, this time let's look up Ireland. We can bring in different GIFs onto our screen, and we can resize them and move them around the screen as well. As I mentioned, we can also bring in different YouTube videos. These YouTube videos are going to be cleansed of ads before they're shown on the screen. We can have the YouTube video playing on one side of the screen while we're annotating and taking notes on the other side of our whiteboard as well. We also get our choice for our file icon. So I'll just open up a new page again. If I go into my file icon, I can find different backgrounds. For example, my line paper backgrounds. I can also find my maths background and etc. We can get rid of them too if we wish to do so. We also get different choices like our triangle, for example. We can move that triangle around and resize it. On my different circles, mind maps, and etc. Another useful feature would be to bring in, for maths, for example, we can bring in a real life-size ruler. I can move that ruler around and I can try and measure the side of my pyramid. We can use the blue and the red notch to measure a certain side of that pyramid, and we can stamp that measuring, and we can see it on the screen. Again, could be a very useful way to get the students to come to the screen and try and measure certain things on the screen. We also get different choices like our angle measuring, our compass, and etc. Just going to go on to the next page. Back into my content. We have more choices of different items that we can bring in depending on the subject that we're doing. So for example, geography, we can bring in different flags, our history, science, and etc. Once I'm done annotating on the screen, I'm going to tap on that three-line menu to save the work that I've done. So for example, I have two options when I'm looking to save certain files. I have an option to share and print. So if I tap on share now, that's going to take a few seconds to load up because we've brought a lot of things onto the screen. The option to share and print allows me to grab a QR code off the screen. Once my students or my colleagues scan that QR code, they're able to save that presentation onto their phone. So it could be a useful feature when you're doing a certain meeting, for example, with different teachers. Once you get your work done on the whiteboard, you can just bring up that QR code and all the teachers can scan the QR code and save every one of the pages onto their phone. Now, another way to save the presentation is to tap on Save As. Now it gives me a different choice for my different cloud drives that I have connected to my Links account. So for example, we have our Google Drive. So on my Google Drive, I can find different files that I can save it on. Or I have my Links cloud. I can save it on my Links cloud as well. To rename my file, I get a blank tab at the bottom left side of that window. If I tap on that, it's going to bring up my keyboard and I'm able to rename my file. Next to that, we get an option that says links 5. So with my option that says links 5, I'm able to keep it as a links whiteboard file, or I'm able to export it as a PDF file. My advice is to just keep it as a links file if you're looking to save it, but you do have an option to export it as PDF as well. In those options, we can also go back to our dashboard as well and navigate around our dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through an example of a presentation made by Clevertouch, and I'm going to show you some of the more features that we can bring into our links whiteboard. Okay, so I'm going to tap on that three-line menu and I'm going to tap on Start Presenting. This is an example of a links whiteboard presentation, again made by Clevertouch. I can navigate through different pages of my presentations. Inside my presentations, we can make different icons editable while presenting. So we can put Pumbaa, Timon, and Simba into our bus. We can go on to the next page. We can also add in different sound files behind different photos. So for example, if we're looking to learn how to pronounce rain, we can put in a sound of that rain pronunciation behind that picture. Rain. I'm not sure if you were able to hear that, but once I tap on that, it's going to play a sound that I've put behind that picture. Here we have a screen recording at the bottom left side of our presentation of our teacher writing rain on the screen. We can get the students to come to the screen, choose one of the pens that they want to use, and they can start annotating on the screen. Don't mind my handwriting, it's horrible. But yeah, they're able to do that. On to my next page. Here we can use our text recognition pen, for example. On to my next page. Here we can make different objects duplicate when we tap on them while presenting. So for example, I'm using my pen. For example, these 10s, they're going to duplicate anytime we tap on them. And the ones are going to duplicate anytime we tap on them as well. Then my numbers on the side, they're going to be editable while presenting. So we can move them around while we are presenting. All this work and all these presentations that you would be doing, you would make them on your laptop on the Links whiteboard, and you'd be presenting them in the class on your interactive display like I'm doing right now. We can also bring in different clocks, and we can move our clocks around. Here we can shape split as I done earlier, and we can measure different sides of that shape as well. Here again, we have different sounds behind different pictures. And we can also move our names of the instruments around. Here we're playing around with different colors of background. So we have a red background and we have a yellow background. Now we have a writing in Irish in yellow. When we slide that down to our yellow background, we can see that writing in English in red. When we slide it all the way up to the black background, we can see how we can work with different backgrounds to manipulate different writing, for example. Here we can look up different photos from geography, for example, like I did earlier. Here we can play our YouTube videos that are going to be cleansed of ads before they're shown on the screen. Here we can move different art shapes around and we can resize them and move them around our picture. Here we're playing around with different layers. So essentially, like in Canva, when you have different layers for different pictures and etc. So if we want to look at the engine and driveline of the car, we can bring out that shape to our screen and we can put it back behind the car. If we want to look at the suspension, we can drag the suspension and see how that part of the car looks as well. These are different simulations and games made by Lynx and Fet. Here we can drag and drop different organs on the screen and different names of these organs as well. We can also make different quizzes. So if I get the answer wrong, it's going to tell me to try again. I have to go back to the first page until I get my answer right. And here we're playing around with different GIFs and different images. So for example, that snow is a GIF. And then we have different images of different objects that we can move around or that we can duplicate on the screen. Now I'm going to stop presenting and I'm going to take us. It's going to ask me, do I want to keep the changes? I'm always going to say no. I'm going to take us back to the home screen and we're going to go through some additional parts of our Clevertouch interactive displays. If I go back into my side arrow, we also get a choice for my Finder. So in my Finder, I get a few different options. So I have my internal storage, which are all the different files that I have internally or locally stored on my interactive display. Most of the Clevertouch interactive displays come with 64 gigabytes of storage. Under that, I get a choice for my cloud drive. So I currently have my Google Drive connected to the interactive display itself, meaning that I can navigate around different files from my around different cloud files from my interactive display. So for example, we're going to open up a PowerPoint file. I'm able to play that PowerPoint file and I'm able to swipe through the different pages of that PowerPoint file. Now I also get a choice for my flow and pencil tool. I'm always going to have that flow and pencil tool, even if I'm sharing with HDMI from my laptop to my screen, I'll get a choice for that flow and pencil tool. Inside the flow and pencil tool, I get a choice for my snowflake, which is essentially just going to freeze my screen. Under that, we get a choice for the bin with the letter L, which is going to allow me to delete any locally stored files that we have on the screen if I choose that in my settings. Under that, we get our snipping tool. So with that, I'm able to add in a spotlight onto one part of the screen. I'm able to change the size of the spotlight. I'm able to change the clarity of the screen as well. Next to that, we get our stopwatch and our timer. So we can set a timer for a certain activity for 5 minutes, for example. We can move that timer around the screen. We can full size it, or if I tap on my pen, it's going to bring it up to the top so we can see the timer. Once that's done, I'm able to just X out of it. Under that, we get our snipping tool. So I'm able to snip either one part of the picture or my full screen, and I'm able to insert that snip into my whiteboard. Under that, we get our annotating pen tool. So for example, if we have a PowerPoint PDF file currently open, and if we just quickly want to annotate over, it's going to take a snip of that screen. It's going to give me a choice of 4 different colors of pens and 4 different colors of my highlighters that I can change in my settings. I'm able to delete that with just holding my fist with my thumb up towards me. Or I'm able to tap on that brush and that's going to get rid of everything that I've annotated on the screen. I can tap on the save icon to save it onto my files. I can tap on that QR code anyone that's connected to the same network that my interactive display is connected to. If they scan the QR code, they're going to be able to save that snip onto their phone, or I can upload it to my cloud. Under that, we get our choice for our magnifying glass with a plus sign. As you can see on the top right side of the screen, there's a magnifying glass with a lock, meaning that it just froze my screen. I can zoom into different parts of the screen and zoom out and move around my screen as well. Once I tap on that X, it's going to unfreeze my screen. Above that, we get two windows together. That's going to show us all the apps that are currently active on my display. If I tap on split, I'm also able to split screen. So we can have our PowerPoint file and our, for example, whiteboard on one side of the screen. We can resize those apps so we can have two apps on the screen at the same time. And we can close it all together. Above that, we have our default whiteboard icon, which is going to take us to our whiteboard app. Above that, we have our HDMI icon, which is going to show us all the inputs if we want to switch around them. I can also bring that menu up just by swiping from the bottom of the screen all the way up. Above that, I get a choice for my home icon, which is going to take me back to my home screen. And above that, we get our choice for our back icon, which is just going to take me back out of that page. So for example, just like that. Under my Finder, we got a choice for my browser, so I can just use my browser normally. We have our Clever Live Store as well. So this is another app made by Clevertouch. Clever Live Store has over 100 free apps and games that are all downloadable for your Clevertouch interactive displays. Now you can browse different games for different ages. You can browse different games for different subjects and etc. And you can download them on your interactive display. Under your Clever Live Store, you get a choice for active, meaning that you can see all the active apps on the screen currently. That's where you can split screen from as well. Under that, you get a choice for a lock, so you can lock your screen. So we can set up different users for different teachers, and they can lock the screen whenever they're leaving their class. And you also get a choice for different apps that are currently downloaded on that interactive display. So I'm going to take you through some of the settings that you also get with your Clevertouch interactive display. We get a choice for our Wi-Fi, which is our wireless network. We get a choice for our Ethernet, which is our wired network. You can also add in a hotspot from the interactive display to your students, for example. Under that, you get a choice for personalize. So you can personalize what you want your default whiteboard to be and etc. You also get user settings. So here is when you can add, where you can add more users onto that screen. So let's say we have 3 different teachers that are using the same classroom. Mary, Marco, and Alex are using the classroom. We can make a user for each one of them. We can also set different passwords for different users too. You also get your input and output settings. So here you can choose your sound input and your sound output, and you can change your names for your different inputs as well. Under that, we get a choice for different applications. So here we can see different apps that are currently downloaded on the interactive display, and we can delete them from this menu as well. Under that, you get a choice for system date and time. So you can change the system's date and time, and you can also change the startup and shutdown settings. So we can get the screen to turn on at 9 in the morning, for example, Monday to Friday, and we can make it turn off at 2:30 in the afternoon, Monday to Friday as well. As you can see, I have an off task currently assigned to the screen to turn off at 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. I do not have an on task since I don't use it all the time, but you can set that up yourself in the class. For that, I get a choice for my about settings. So here we can just see the version of the interactive display and etc. In my system settings, I also get a choice for system update, where I can check for different updates that are due on my interactive display. There's new updates coming out every 6 to 8 months for your Clevertouch interactive displays because they're always improving, so make sure you do check for any updates.